For YouTube. Say hi, YouTube.
What's up, guys? You ready to rock and roll?
How goes it? We hope well. Here we go. Welcome. Oopsie. Shut me up really quick. There we go. All right. And this is it.
Audio.
Y'all ready? Did the audio thing. Double check. Oh, it turned back on. Now it's off again.
So we have no echo. Perfect.
No echo. All right. Here we go.
Sweet.
We're live for the podcast in 3, 2, 1.
Welcome to another episode of Business Bros. What up, ladies and gents? Welcome to another episode.
I'm just going to say, without even practicing, Manuel, right on point.
Nailed it.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
That's what I do.
That's what I do. All right, ladies and gents, Hernan Cias, host of the Business Bros podcast, along with my co-host,
the insurance bro, James Cias with Pipeline Insurance.
And who do we got on the show today?
Oh, we are so excited. We have an awesome guest on the show. Another one from one of the best groups out there. Let's be honest, right? I mean, there's a lot of great ones out there. A lot of great ones. Oh, I got to turn off my... do not disturb.
Yeah.
But we're so excited. Thank you very much for joining us, Mr. Manuel Sanchez from Compass.
Yes.
Woo, welcome
Love
to the
it.
program.
Thank you very much for having me. It's the first podcast I do, so I'm pretty excited and nervous at the same time. I don't know.
Well, I'm glad you spoke.
Yeah.
Because there's an issue sometimes when that microphone goes on, click, like all of a sudden, deer in
Everyone
the
goes
headlights.
silence.
so you spoke. So we're on the right track. All right, before we get to Manuel's story, just a reminder, ladies and gents, 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. So if you have new shoes, used shoes, you want to donate cash, hit James up, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. He'll ride over on his Harley and pick up those bad boys. He'll also help you out with your insurance, just letting you know. So 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com.
And we are this close, by the way, to actually having that thermometer behind your head.
Yeah, we have the thermometer, so we can
have
actually show people where we are in the shoe count.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
We've been meaning to do that, saying we're going to do it, and it's happening.
A shoe
it's happening.
counter. I love it.
Well, it's just a thermometer, right?
Okay.
So you can use it as sales metrics. You can
Close
use it
enough,
whatever.
right?
For us, we're going to use it for the shoe count.
Yeah. But we're almost there.
All right. Manuel.
Yes.
Manuel sells.
Yeah.
Right?
Sell with Manuel.
Sell with
sells, whatever you want to call it.
Sell with Manuel. That's
Yep.
actually your IG handle, right?
That is my IG handle. Yes, it is.
Sells with Manuel. So tell me, Manuel, when did you decide to get into this sales gig? Was it like your dream job? You thought about it when you were in kindergarten and you said, I'm going to sell real estate?
No, not at all. I kind of fell into it just like everyone else does. I started selling cars. I mean, I've sold everything, to be honest. Well, I shouldn't say that.
Right?
I haven't sold everything.
We have dispensaries now, so selling everything can mean a wide variety of things.
My first job was at IKEA. I was selling furniture, so that was my first job. I've worked at Nordstrom selling shoes. I worked at Performance Bicycles selling bicycles. I've sold newspaper ads. Like I worked for the Union Tribune, so I've been all over the place. I was selling cars for a long time, which really kind of transitioned into selling houses.
So what is like sales just been in your DNA since you were a kid? Like you just knew like this is what works for me.
You know what? No, I just it was something that, like I said, I fell into, and I was like, I'm gonna perfect it. Mm-hmm. I don't think you can ever get to like, oh, you're perfect. Perfect. But I was like, I love playing around with it. It's really interesting for me because I worked for Apple for a little bit, and that Apple has really, it's funny, their training is just on another level, because it's not so much that they train you to sell, but they train you to find the right product for the right person, because each person, as we all know, is different.
Identifying what they see as valuable.
Yes, exactly. So I've taken that and really made it my own, and I've tried so many different sales tactics, and I know there's so many out there, like Jordan Belfort, the straight line sale, and I've read many books on sales and how to sell to different personalities. Mm-hmm. And I think from reading books and seeing listening to podcasts, seeing YouTube videos, I've learned so much and kind of made it my own. Mm-hmm. So what really helped is also, like I said, I was selling cars. So I was in the high-end car business. So I worked for Porsche for a little bit, and then I worked for Lamborghini. So you can imagine trying to sell a $500,000 car. I mean, shoot.
Is it the same though? Is it the same like you're in the Lamborghini lot and like somebody walks up? Is it the
No.
same type of gig,
No,
or
no,
what's up
no,
with
no.
that? Like that's got to be a little bit different at least.
It's very different. I mean, the thing with Lamborghini owners and people who are looking to buy a Lamborghini is they're not shopping you locally. They're shopping you all over the U.S. And you have to get them. There's a very short window that you have to sell them on, because people who have a lot of wealth, they want stuff done fast. And if you can't get them in a very short period of time,
you lost them.
You lost them, and that's it. They'll just go with whoever can give them the best deal. And trust me, these people may have all the money in the world, they still want a deal.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I've learned
It's
a lot.
human nature, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
We don't want to get screwed. We don't want to get
Yeah.
pull the wool over eyes,
Yeah.
whatever. Like we want a good deal.
I mean, they have a lot of money for a reason, right?
Well, you know what though, I've heard that a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you've heard that said. Well, they didn't get there being frugal. Most of them don't get there being frugal.
Correct.
But that doesn't take away from the fact that if I'm gonna buy something, it's always better if I get it for free or at a discount. It doesn't matter how much money I have,
Yeah.
right? Like
Right.
if I go to Baskin Robbins and I'm eating ice cream, me and the wife, right?
Yeah.
Hers always tastes better. Even if I pick my own flavor, hers
Yeah.
is always gonna taste better. Or the sample might taste a little better, but I'm gonna go with what I'm familiar with.
You taste a sample and you're like, ooh, I'll have one of those, and then you get the full scoop and you're like, it didn't taste as good.
Right? But it tasted good when it was free.
That is very true. Free stuff is really good. Right. I'm a sucker for free stuff. I go in and I see like free T-shirts and I'm like, I'll have 3 of those.
Yeah.
Oh man,
You went with the free shirts,
I
right?
knew you were gonna go there. I knew you were gonna go there. This guy has almost nothing but free shirts T-shirts. As far as T-shirts, the only type of T-shirts that he has, except for the Business Bros ones, are free ones.
Dude, why not?
Why not?
Plus, I'll take them in all sizes too. I'll give them away.
Yeah.
Oh, I got you a free T-shirt.
Well, you know what? I'll be honest. I don't really take the ones that don't fit me. But almost everything comes in a large. So I'm like, okay, cool. I'll take the large. And if it's a free shirt, like, what do you get? I'm not going to throw away a free shirt.
Yeah.
Free's for me.
I mean,
like
shoot,
that.
my sleeping T-shirt is like running a marathon 2016. It's like, I'll just sleep in it. I don't care. Like,
Not gonna lie, my sleeping shirt right now is from Driven Wealth Management.
See?
Well,
free shirt.
So yeah, the car business really, you know what? I had a lot of fun selling cars. It's something that I knew I wasn't going to do forever.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to be my own boss and kind of have my own schedule, but I enjoyed it so much because there's so many people who walk through the door, and I'd have fun with it in the sense that I would even make up accents. Like I would say like, oh, there's someone. I'm just gonna play around with it, see what works, see what doesn't, and I would create this like, oh hey, welcome to Porsche. How you doing today, sir? And I just thought, be like, oh great. And then someone else would come in and be like, hey, what's up, man? Come on in. What do you want? Like I tried so many different things, and what was great that I was so many different people, like face-to-face interaction, that I think the car business was the best thing I could have done before getting into real estate.
I've heard that a number of times.
Yeah.
It's because you get so many at-bats.
Yeah.
Right? The more times you get an at-bat, the more things you're like, well, that didn't work. Try something else. Oh, that worked. Let's try it again.
Yeah, exactly. The only thing that's different car business than the real estate market is, or selling real estate, is that in the car business, it's a very quick turnaround. Mm-hmm. They walk in the door, they either want a car or they don't. When it comes to real estate, it's a longer process. You have to constantly be following up with people, constantly be kind of, showing them and teaching them how the market works. There's a lot of people that don't know how real estate works. And that's one of the reasons why I love, providing them more than just selling them. I like providing them value by like, look, I'm going to teach you exactly what I'm doing. There's some people that don't care, to be honest. Yeah. They're like, I just wanted the house, either buy the house or sell the house, however you're going to do it, just do it. Other people are like, I want to know exactly what you're doing. So getting to know, who that type of person is huge. And like I said, car business helped me out. There were some people that, walked in and they're like, how much horsepower did this have? How wide are the tires? And I'm like, okay, you're one of those. Mm-hmm. You're about like all about the numbers. And then there's other people who are like, wow, this feels really nice. These seats are nice. It feels good. I'm like, oh, okay, you're an emotional buyer. Like, the numbers don't really matter. And they, it's just so many different things that you learn from it. And I think when I decided to get into real estate, I was living up in LA, and like I said, I've always wanted to get into real estate, and it took me forever to get my license. I'll admit that, and I did fail my test 3 times, which I'm not too proud of, but whatever. I have it right now.
Is it because you were kind of busy with life, and you just kind of like, yeah, I'm gonna do it, and I kind of dabbled in it, and then maybe dabble in it again, and
interesting that you bring that up. I was busy with life, and I was just like, do I really want to get into real estate? Do I not? I knew it in the back of my head I did, but being in real estate, I mean, you're solely commission.
Mm-hmm.
That's, if you don't work, you don't get paid.
It's kind of a scary leap.
It is. And at the time I was living in LA when I decided to get into it. I'm originally from San Diego. My family's from Mexico, so hablo español. Hola a todos. But they're from Tijuana, and I was born and raised here in San Diego, and I've always wanted to live in LA. So I went up to LA, and honestly, this was my first. The reason I went up to live in LA was because I wanted to be on $1 Million Listing. Be honest. I was like, that's I'm gonna suit up and I'm gonna be on $1 Million Listing, and
I'm gonna make it happen.
I'm gonna make it happen.
Yeah.
And I got my real estate license. Like I said, it took me forever. I got my real estate license. I get into real estate. I quit the car business. I was like, that's
cold turkey.
Cold turkey. I'm not gonna be a part-time real estate agent. I've always thought, like, if I'm gonna go into real estate, I'm gonna go in at 100%. So I go in it, and I start working for Berkshire Hathaway, and I get this mentor, and I'm like, I don't need you. Don't you know?
I've been selling my whole life.
Yeah, I've been selling. Well, no, I'm like, I watch $1 Million Listing. I know how this is done.
Oh yeah. Okay.
And he was
that approach. Okay.
Yeah. I was this cocky guy, and honestly, I got punched in the face. I was, 5 months in, I had no leads. I didn't know what to do. No direction, and it broke me. Like 5 months into it, it broke me, and I was going broke.
Yeah. so double broke.
Yeah, exactly. So I decided to quit and move back to San Diego.
Dude.
Yeah.
It's funny. I've been talking to somebody online, Posh Notion. She's doing this whole thing about unbreakable, and she wants people to share their unbreakable stories.
Mm-hmm.
This is one of your moments. Like, this is where you're quitting, or you're making it happen. Yeah. Right. Like, tuck your tail between your legs and go back to the cars, or face it and I'm gonna make this happen.
And you know what? It's if you know anyone in the car business, it's tough because it's easy money. It's easy money, so it's easy. You can easily fall back into it. But in real estate, I was like, you know what? I quit real estate. I moved back home, and I was down. I was like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? Like, I honestly thought real estate was gonna be my thing. Like, especially in LA. Now I'm back in San Diego. I don't know what. So I took, 4 or 5 months off, like just trying to figure it out. At the time, I was reaching out to a lot of real estate agents because I do. I shoot videos, I promote them, I edit them, I upload them to YouTube, and so I love it. I love editing videos, and I do the whole thing. I have my gimbal and my drone, and I do the whole thing, right? So I started reaching out to agents because I noticed that a lot of agents in San Diego weren't doing home tours, like actual home videos, like with music and like cool angles.
Something that people want to watch.
It's something that people want to watch, especially for social media. And in LA, everyone was doing it. I was like, why isn't everyone doing it in San Diego? Like, are they that far behind, like social media wise, or like content wise? And so I started calling up agents, and I was telling them, like, hey, like, I'm selling my videos, like, they're cheap, man. Buy them off of me. I'll go in and I'll do my own thing. And one agent called me. He's like, hey, can I talk to you? And I was like, yeah, sure. Like, I was like, I got
cool.
my first,
yeah,
I got my first sale.
I
got him. He's like, why don't you go back into real estate? I was like, I don't know. And I told him my whole story. He's like, dude, you should go back into real estate. And it kind of put it back in my mind. And I started seeing, at the time, I was just driving around San Diego looking for a job because I wanted to get into marketing. That's what I went to school for. And I started seeing this, Canner brokerage district group, and I started seeing it. I was like, who are these people? Like, and so I reached out, got hired. 2 days late, got hired by Canner brokerage. I already started hanging my license with them, and then 2 days later, I joined the district group, and my world completely changed.
Now you had mentorship that actually wanted to follow.
Yeah, now I had someone that Jeff Disher, that I looked up to, and I was like, holy shit! Like, he's taught. I was with them for close to a year on that group, and he taught me, what nobody else had taught me. He showed me the ropes. He told me, do it this way, do it that way. And Jeff, he's hardcore. You'll have him here
Really
2
soon,
weeks.
yeah.
And he's hardcore, and that's something that I needed. And so he taught me a lot of things. I taught him a lot of things when it comes to marketing. And so it was a great group. It was a great family. And a year later, I decided to branch out on my own and kind of do my own thing. So that's where I'm at right now.
So it's a good thing that this license lasts 4 years, right? Before you got to redo it. Otherwise, you spent the first year kind of fumbling around.
Oh man, yeah. It's I don't count that as
year one.
No, I don't. I really don't count it as year one. So technically, I just wrapped up year one.
So let me ask you this though. Like, there's a lot of people who jump into the business.
Yeah.
That are in that situation. They're like, I'm gonna get into real estate. They have the same idea, right? They saw Property Brothers, they saw $1 Million Listing. They're like, this is easy. That's no problem. I know all kinds of people who have houses, right? And so they get into the business. Maybe they close 1 or 2 deals, their friend or family, whatever, and poof, that's it. Like, what does it feel like being in the 5-month marker? And how did you decide to keep going? Like when that idea came back in your head, like what pushed you? Because you could have easily been thinking about, no, man, I don't want to go back to that. That sucked. That was horrible.
Yeah.
Like what drove you to do that?
You know what? I think it was me moving back to San Diego. I mean, I grew up here and I have a ton of friends here. I know a lot of people who are, I'm 30 years old and I have a lot of friends who are getting married, buying houses. I mean, shoot, I have a lot of friends who are selling, their first home, buying a second home. And so I think for me, it was back in San Diego, knowing San Diego so well. I know it like the back of my hand. Not that at LA I didn't know it, because I lived there for a year and a half. But I was competing against people who grew up in LA, who had family there, who went to school there. And here I am, $1 Million Listing wannabe from San Diego. On paper, I don't know anything about LA or the LA market. And so that was my biggest hurdle that I said that made me quit.
But with what you know now, you think you could have handled it?
Yeah. What I know now, I think I would have approached the LA real estate market or the LA real estate, world very differently. Very different. I would have just gone hardcore all the time.
So tell me what that means. Like, what does hardcore look like to you?
Look, to me personally, going hardcore in real estate is 24/7, no days off. I know there's a lot of realtors who take days off or who have a set schedule. I'm at a point in my career, because I do look at it as a career. I don't look at it as a job. I'm at a point in my career where if I don't make it happen, then, it's like, what's next? I don't feel like there's anything out there for me, because real estate is really the combination of 2 of my favorite things. Well, actually 3 of my favorite things, which is real estate, sales, and marketing. Because at the end of the day, you have to know how to market properties, and not only properties, but how to market yourself. I mean, gone are the days where you threw up a for sale sign, threw a property on the MLS, and it just sold. Mm-hmm. You really have to do marketing before it hits the market, during when it's for sale, and then after, because after you want to promote that, hey, I got the job done. Mm-hmm. I sold this property, and that, producing content and just being in front of as many people as you can is, for me, is going to hardcore. Like every single person that you meet is a potential client. At one point or another, they're going to buy a house, sell a house, rent. I mean, you name it. Everyone likes real estate, or not likes real estate, but involved. But it's curious about real estate.
It's involved. Either as a renter or as an owner.
And you know what? The now that I've been doing it for a little over a year, it's funny. I'm with my girlfriend and we go out to dinner, and I just hear real estate or home sale or something, and my ear, I'm just like,
squirrel.
Yeah, I swear, I'm like, squirrel. And my girlfriend notices it too, because I'm like, I doze off, and she's like, what? And I'm like, I don't know. I heard someone's wanting to sell their home. I was like, oh shoot, like, I just that's me going hardcore. That's me having a mentality of this business. If you don't go 24/7, you will not be successful. And so that, in a sense, it's good, but at the same time, I run into a lot of realtors who are like, I've had my license for 3 years, and the only reason why I got it is because my sister wants to sell our house. I'm like, oh man, that never ends up well.
Well, it's always the one transaction and you're done.
And you're done. But what kind of value does she add if she doesn't do this on day in and day out?
Mm-hmm.
And so, hardcore or don't go at all.
Hashtag
100%.
always on.
Always
Hashtag
on.
always on.
Hashtag always on.
That's 100% true though, because the reason I say always on is people who have set schedules in real estate. I mean, I
don't worry about that.
Oh, yeah. I respect that. There's a lot of people who have family and have things to do. But me, being 30 years old and at such a growing phase in my career, I have to always be on. I tell my clients, I'm always like, you want to talk at 1 a.m. about real estate, about going to view property, call me.
Yeah, I'll answer the phone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you this though. You're thinking about today a lot.
Mm-hmm.
As a realtor, now that you have today in the bag, like what you're doing on a regular basis, 24/7, you're on.
Mm-hmm.
What about 20 years from now? 25 years from now? 30 years from now? What do you see? Like, do you have? The reason I ask is because everybody who gets into a business, whether it's a self-employed business like a realtor or they build a business, they're oftentimes not thinking about an exit strategy. How are you going to get out of this business, or are you going to get out? You know what I mean? Like, have you started thinking that far ahead?
I have. You have your 5-year goals, or 10-year goal, 20-year goal, whatever you want to call it. I have, and I think real estate is gonna change in the next 10 years. Not that the realtor is ever going to go away. I don't think that will ever happen. You tend to see that in the news a lot, where it's like, oh, Zillow's going to take over, Redfin's going to take over. Nobody wants to deal with a computer. Nobody wants to deal with call me at 9 to 5. Like, they want to deal with a person that they can call, that they can see, that they can, look at and hang out with and go to dinner with, because at the end of the day, people like dealing with people. They don't want to deal. Yeah, they don't want to deal with a machine, even though it's kind of scary because now you can buy everything online.
Well, yeah, Terminator, Google becomes self-aware. Yeah, I mean, but it's true. Okay, so you're right. The real estate market, the dynamic, the way the transaction happens, all those things will change. Mm-hmm. And then we do have cyclical markets, so you're going to see fluctuations up and down in values. All that stuff changes. Mm-hmm. But I think you're right. I think there's not going to be much of there's still the person involved.
Correct.
So I do see that, but you do need to prepare for other types of trends and changes within being a realtor, how things happen.
And you're starting to see that right now. You're starting to see like the old school agent who may not be too familiar with maybe social media, because social media right now, real estate and social media are one. Like, if you're not on social media and you're a real estate agent, then you should just quit. because whether you're selling a home or you're selling yourself, you have to be, whether you want to be and call social media. Many people think like, oh, Instagram. No, it's LinkedIn, it's Snapchat, it's Facebook, it's Twitter, it's Instagram. I mean, there's so many different avenues when you say social media, and every platform is different. I see a lot of people share what they share on Instagram, they share it on Facebook, and they share it on LinkedIn.
Exactly the same piece of content.
Exactly, it's so different. It's different platforms. And for example, I started writing LinkedIn articles, and I usually come out with them. I try to come out with them every 2 to 3 weeks. I get really inspired and I start writing. And I come out with them on a Wednesday at 9 a.m., 9:30 a.m., where people are at work and can go on LinkedIn. And they don't get in trouble if they go on LinkedIn. So I attack LinkedIn at that time in a more professional way, because LinkedIn is a professional platform.
Yeah.
When it comes to Facebook, I usually go on Facebook or share something more for the older demographic, because that's the people that are on Facebook, and I usually share it in the afternoons, like in the evenings, like at 5 p.m., where people are maybe finishing up dinner or jumping into bed.
Their leisure time.
Yeah, they're just on Facebook and they're seeing what their family members are doing. Instagram is funny because Instagram, I share a lot of stories. I share a lot of what I'm doing, which I think is super important. And the funny thing is, like, it's super easy to do. It's really easy to do, to just pop, and everyone sees your stories. Like the algorithm of posting a picture, not everyone will see it. Like Instagram chooses who they're going to send it to, but stories, everyone will see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's just a great platform to document your everyday life. What you're doing, you're grabbing dinner, just record it. Hey guys, I'm just here grabbing dinner. Like it shows personality without actually selling anything.
Yeah. Well, the demographic's also a little bit different there too.
It is.
So there's more people using an Instagram story than a Facebook story,
mm-hmm.
right? I mean, the attraction in Facebook, I think what was the demographic? Last I saw it was something like 20 to 35-year-olds are majority on Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
It's very popular amongst realtors because we get to show pictures and show exactly where we're walking through.
Yeah.
So no, I 100% agree with you that paying attention to the platform is super important.
Mm-hmm.
Staying top of mind is super important. So I don't know. I would, I'm a big proponent of using social media, but the only one thing I would disagree with you is a realtor doesn't necessarily have to do social media to be successful if they can stay top of mind. If they actually pick up the phone, if they actually, conversate with clients on a regular basis, if they work their CRM, their circle of influence like they're supposed to, you can be successful.
Yeah.
But you can take it to a whole new level
if you're on social media.
If you're on social media, right?
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, you reach a new audience where they may not be your circle of influence. With ads so easily, being able to create ads easily on Instagram, you can reach. I mean, the reach is
enormous.
Yeah, enormous. You can do so much on it. And you can be so creative, and at the same time, it's so easy to do.
Right. Well, let me ask you. I mean, realtors spend marketing dollars all the time, whether it's flyers or mailers or whatever it's going to be. How much are you working on your ad spend right now? Is it mostly, is it print or is it mostly on like Facebook, YouTube?
So
Instagram?
here's the way I approach it, and I've been using both of them. I do print and I do digital ads, or social media ads. And the way I approach it is, for example, let's just take a neighborhood, here in Chula Vista. I see that neighborhood, I map it, I see the homes on there, I go and I flyer drop an ad, let's say for Compass Concierge, which I think is a great program. If you don't know about it, you should definitely check it out. Compass.com/concierge. And I go and drop the flyer, and that same week I take out I put a post, Compass Concierge, on my Instagram, and I promote the ad just within that area. So now they're not only seeing it on print, but then all of a sudden it pops up on their phone.
Do you see it? Do you use like a geographical pin?
Correct.
Okay,
yeah.
Because that totally helps.
Yeah, that helps. Yeah, and then maybe a week later I do a different picture and I do the same thing, or I maybe attack them on the stories, on their stories. So it's just different ways where it's like they don't realize
how many times they've seen it.
How many times they see it, and then they see it on their phone. And they're like, isn't that like let's see that flyer again? Like, oh shoot, like, or whenever they're because let's be honest, everyone throws away flyers. I get it. Probably, all my flyers get thrown away. Everyone does it. I do it. I don't do a lot of mailers for that same reason. I do. I don't like sending people stuff through the mail unless it's actually personalized, like a postcard, where I'm like, hey, it's great to. I see that you've been hitting the gym or whatever. That's great, man. Like, keep it up.
Or a handwritten address.
I do that. Handwritten address, handwritten note on a postcard. But I don't do a lot of mailers because I want to know that when they walk through the door, my flyer is going to be on the door and they're going to see it. And so the reason I do that is because I get them on my doorstep and I see them all the time. I don't know if that's because I'm just a realtor.
Well, yeah, part of it is because you're a realtor, but I mean, I talk about junk mail all the time, right?
Yeah.
So I know on Tuesdays, my inbox and my mailbox is going to have the junk mail, right? But that's okay. I know most of it's going to go in the trash. But if I'm looking for like my Carl's Jr. coupons, I know they're going to be there, right?
Yeah.
I know what stuff is in there, and it's on a consistent, regular basis.
Correct.
And so one thing we talk about all the time is using the stories as your junk mail. Your stories are your junk. Your stories are...
That's interesting. That's a good way to view it.
Because it's just constant you being top of mind, right? Wow, that's a loud siren. We never get sirens up here.
It's a rarity.
It is a rarity. So it's constant top of mind. Most people are going to go through the stories, and they're going to see you.
Mm-hmm.
They may not pay attention to you. They may not really watch your whole story, but they've seen you.
Correct.
And they constantly see you coming up. And they see that you are a realtor. They see what you are doing on a regular basis. And even though they might just swipe through, when they need you, they know exactly who you are and what you've been doing.
And you know what? I upload so many stories that they know I'm working all the time.
Mm-hmm.
They know I'm working all the time, because when it comes Sunday and everyone's out, Sunday fun day, I'm uploading my open house and I'm like, I'm working. So that's the thing. It's again, we go back to being hardcore all the time.
But because of that, how many people contact you via social and they're like, hey, I got a friend, or I need to...
You know what? The first 6 months I was doing real estate, I got 0 calls, 0 messages, 0, like nothing. And just like everything, it takes time for people to realize, like, oh shoot, like this guy's actually like still crushed, still doing it. You know, so he's still uploading his open houses. He's still doing. Hey, you know what? I have a buddy of mine and then I started receiving messages, and I'm like, oh shoot, like
it's working.
It's working.
Yeah.
Like it's working. And just like anything, I mean, you do anything, and it's, you know, you go to the gym the first day, it's going to be terrible.
It's going to suck for the first couple weeks, let me tell you.
And it's going to suck, and you're going to be like, oh, dude, this is not working. And then 6 months later, you know, if you do it consistently, you start seeing that
results.
The results.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So let me ask you, what kind of advice would you give somebody who's just starting out? Now you've been through the rocks, right?
Yeah.
You've been through
I've seen the dark
peaks and
side.
the valleys, yeah, and you've made it to the light, or at least on the way to the light, right?
Yeah.
We don't want to go to the light yet.
Yeah.
That's a long ass tunnel, but you can see where you're going now.
That's the 80-year goal.
Yeah,
the
yeah.
80-year goal. It's
The
like
80.
that start maybe start taking a few steps towards the light.
Yeah, exactly. But always heading in the light direction,
Yeah.
right? You're not going backwards. What advice would you give somebody who just got their license, or they're thinking about, you know, getting out there?
The number one advice would be join a team, join a group. Everyone should. I've seen people go on their own. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of people who have gone on their own since day one and they've made it. I have friends who have done it and they've never joined a team. But I think it's important to have a mentor and have someone that you can always, you know, shoot a text message if you run into something. And that's what teams are for. To have that mentor, that leader that you're like, you know, that will help you. Hey, Manuel, you can start doing this, and this. This is the way you should do this, you know. And before I left, for example, the district group, Jeff was, you know, that was my go-to guy. And I still message with him. I still message with Ben. I still message with everyone in the group. And I made sure that before I left the group that I had someone that I could reach out to. So I think anyone looking to become a real estate agent, get their license, and then really dive deep into it is, number one, realize that your first year is going to suck. It's going to be tough.
This is not an instant gratification business.
No. This is not. No. I was lucky to, in my first year, close 8 transactions. And within my first month, I had my first deal. That is rare. And people have told me, I thought that was the norm. I was like, oh, shit, I got my first deal. And they're like, dude, you got your first deal within the first month.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, well, is that not normal? They're like, no. Like, having money saved up is a huge part, because you're not making any money.
Yeah, you gotta float.
You gotta float. You gotta be able to pay the bills. Anyone looking to join, just realize it's gonna be tough. I mean, I'm not saying it gets any easier after year one. It doesn't. Like, I've just crossed year one, and it's, you know, it's still...
You're still on 24/7.
I'm still on 24/7. And that's the thing. It's just, you'll talk to agents who have been in the business for 9-10 years, and they still, like, they're like, dude, I wake up every morning not knowing where my next deal is going to come from. You just never know in this business. You could be down one day, and then the next day your buddy calls you and you're like, hey, I want to sell my house.
Great.
You're like, oh my God, I didn't see that one coming. Like, cool. And so, you know, the mental toughness and just being able to motivate yourself because you are your own boss. Having a mentor that you can look up to and you can reach out for any questions is a huge part of your success in real estate. Dude, so that's yeah.
Coaching or mentoring, right? Yeah. Somebody you can bounce your ideas off of, or somebody you can get answers from when you have questions, because you will have questions.
I'm telling you, I'm telling you, even realtors, I don't care how long you've been, you see sometimes things in because I've heard it, where they're on year 15 and they're like, oh shoot, in my 15 years I've never seen this. And they probably have someone they go to, who may have seen this before.
Or at least a network of people, right? Get to know some agents and at least have that friendship, because you have 10 different agents on a team. Yeah, somebody's had that type of situation or 100%. Similar one, right? And you're going to be able to get that answer. Yeah. Well, a little bit of a side note, because we talked about this a little bit before the show. How do you feel about podcasting now?
I was just telling Hernan, I was about, what was it, maybe 6-7 months ago, I reached out to Jeff, and I said, Jeff, we should start a podcast. And if anyone who knows Jeff Disher, he was on the ESPN radio, I think sports or something like that. And I said, Jeff, we should start a podcast. And he's like, really, you want to start a podcast? And I'm like, yeah, why not? I downloaded this app, like we just upload it. So easy. He's like, when do you want to start it? Do you have everything prepped? And I'm like, no, dude, let's just hit the record button and see what happens. We'll see what happens. He's like, okay, cool. So we sat down. We went into we used to have a green room. We sat and we hit the record. He's like, all right, go for it. I'm like, hi Jeff. And I was like, oh my god, this is so hard. So mad respect for you guys, because this is not easy. This may seem like you did
well though.
I don't know, but this may seem like it's just like easy. I mad respect, because it's not easy to start a podcast. But that is though where everything is. I mean, podcast is huge right now.
It's where it's heading. Yeah, it's.
Why do you think that is?
I think it's because it's like on demand. Right? Yeah. So I think we all have a designation or like a connection with a certain type of group of people, right? Our tribe. Yeah. And we figure out what that tribe is. And that's the person that we end up connecting with, that we want to listen to, that we want to hear stories about. I know anytime I talk to somebody, I always ask them, hey, what kind of podcast is this? And it could be anything. It's like, oh, dude, I listen to this sports podcast, or I listen to this Marvel podcast, or I listen to this conspiracy theories, whatever. Like something in your mind that you really enjoy, there's an audience for that, and there's a show for that. Yeah. And I think that's the cool thing about having a podcast, is the more stuff that you put out there, like you're gonna find, like-minded people tend to find themselves, and then you have an audience of like-minded people. Yeah. And at that point, but it doesn't. It's like when we sat down to do the podcast, I told him we're doing it every day, and he was like, "What? No, I don't know about all that." And I was like, "No, we're doing it every day, 5 days a week, and it's happening." Yeah. And at first, it was an hour each episode, so we cut it down to like half hour. But and I told him, well, in about 3 years, we'll have a pretty good following, and then maybe we can start monetizing or something like that. And so going into it, we were already thinking 3 years in advance. He was like, I don't think we're gonna make it like a month, but all right.
That's true. Hey, but I had my doubts.
What is it? This is podcast
249.
249.
Wow. And we are. Thank you. We are officially 2 days away from our 1 year anniversary.
Wow.
So 1 year in,
I get to witness it.
Yeah, dude.
So and everyone does on YouTube and
exactly. Yeah. But that's the thing. It took all this time, like 1 year in, right? And now we're starting to see the results, and it correlates with pretty much any type of sales gig that you're gonna jump in, and you have to do this consistency on a regular basis. Just get out there and do it, whether you want to do it.
Do it.
Just do it. Yeah. Right? Always on, 24/7.
Always on. And you know what? I started a vlog as well on YouTube, Manuel Sanchez vlog, or the Sell with Manuel vlog. And yeah, it's tough also, man. It's not easy coming up with ideas of, I'm a realtor, so I started involving a lot of car stuff into my vlog, but it's not easy. That's why I respect a lot more people who vlog every single day.
It's tough.
Mm-hmm. And I was doing it once a week. Yeah. And then I switched to once every week, and then once every other week, and then I'm like, oh shoot, I need it.
Well, and you know what? And I'm kind of thinking of I'm a big fan of Gary Vee. right? Gary Vee's one of my favorite entrepreneurs or YouTubers or whatever you want to call it online, right? And one of the things I've heard him say a number of times is you got to think of yourself as a media company and then everything else, whatever else you do, you're a media company first. So, but a media company has multiple channels on it. Right? So if I wanted to watch CSI, I could watch CSI. If I wanted to watch, superheroes, I could watch superheroes at a different time and cartoons at a different time, maybe all on the same, channel, right? It's just different time frames. So I was thinking, okay, well,
CSI.
Whatever. Yeah, I know.
I didn't want to say anything.
Yeah, whatever. I don't really watch much TV these days. But now it's all on Netflix. But still, same type of thing, right? So I only have two things that I'm doing right now, which is the vlog. The podcast. Yeah. And I'm doing a family vlog. And the family vlog is just a matter of whatever we're gonna go. Like we're gonna go to the mall, or we're gonna go to downtown or whatever. Just document it and put the video. And who cares if it sucks? Like,
you know what? And who cares about the views? Just like Gary Vee says it a lot. Like, who cares about the views?
Yeah.
Even if you get one view, or even if you get film 1,000 vlogs and you get one view, shoot, 10 years from now, you're going to look back and you're like, oh, shoot, damn, remember that day we went to the mall?
That's exactly my point, right?
How cool is that?
Well, when I was growing up, right, it was a film and camera, and you'd have, you look at the photo album, but they're all kind of
no. Let's go even further back than that. When Grandpa had the old tape recorder with the little teeny tiny
little
cassettes.
micro.
Yeah, and he'll get us as kids to say whatever random stuff.
Yeah, just talking on the thing.
But it's all documentation, and you look back and you have those things, and you can,
your memories.
Good memories.
The only thing is, I know that I'm going to get old one day, right? Knock on wood. Hopefully I do get old one day, right? And my kids are going to have kids. And they're going to be like, I wonder what was Grandpa like? And it's not a question I wonder what my grandpa was like.
Oh, yeah.
Right? I wonder what he was like. I know people call him Shorty. I know the kind of personality that I knew. But that's all, right? I don't have any connection with any of his history.
Imagine if you could see a video of your grandpa right now.
At my age.
At your age. Or your great-grandpa. Imagine how cool would that be?
Exactly.
The dude, just riding motorcycle or, just out and about in his... How cool is that?
And to me, that's what the family vlog is all about. Now, we're going to be able to look back and be like, remember this day?
Yeah.
No? Let me play it for you. Right? I remember you used to act like that. Remember? Look, let's pull it up.
Yeah.
And that's really what it is. It's
awesome.
Your photo album for whatever. And if other people enjoy that story, great.
Yeah.
And if they don't, well, you know what? It's my family.
It's your family, yeah. Your kids will enjoy it, and then your grandkid, everyone.
Yeah, exactly. And again, like-minded tribes are gonna be able to do that. So, cool. All right, I got two more things to ask you. One is going to be Ask the Bros, right? So you get to ask us a question, either one of us, personal or business, doesn't matter, right? And then I'm going to ask you to pick somebody who you think would be good to have on the show.
So I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
Go for it.
Apart from me, who's the most interesting guest you've had on the podcast?
I usually don't drink
someone
beer,
who's a
but when
good,
I do.
Yeah, someone who's a good storyteller that maybe your listeners can go back and be like, ooh, now I kind of want to go back and listen to that one.
You know what? I'm gonna go with Gabe Mendez.
Okay.
Gabe Mendez is one. It had a great story that day. I mean, he had me with goosebumps. We had tears going on that day.
Really?
Yeah. So I've had two interviews with Gabe. The first interview we did where he's talking about his story, how started from the bottom, now he's here. That story, that one was deep. So okay. I'm gonna go with Gabe Mendez on the most chilling goosebump story I've had on the podcast.
Okay. Yeah, there's no argument for me on that one.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
double.
Really.
Okay, yeah. 2 votes.
And if I gotta go with the second one, it's gonna be hell no.
There you go. That was.
And you don't remember Brandon?
Thank you.
So that was a funny story. He talks about how he used to work at Target in loss prevention, and he tells about the day he got punched in the face by somebody who's trying to walk out with something.
Wow.
So, those two are some good stories. I mean, we've had a number of great guests, but some of those they stick in my head. Anytime I see him or I post something to him, it's always hell no. And with Gabe, it's just he's a great storyteller.
That's really cool.
There you go.
Boom. There you go. All right. So who do you think would be a good guest to have on the podcast?
This is hard because I know so many interesting people. But I would have to say my older brother.
Oh.
And the reason I'll choose his name's Enrique. The reason I'll say him. He's had just an interesting life. He's had so many jobs, so many different jobs, and apart from that, he's traveled the world with the military. He's been up, he's been down, he's been ripped apart. I mean, you name it. And I think he's at the end of the day, he's funny, and he just doesn't care, and doesn't care.
Yeah.
Just has fun. And I always tell him, I'm like, dude, you've had so many jobs, and you've done this and you've done that. He's like, yeah. He's like, I'm like Forrest Gump. Like, I just been all over. Like, I have all these different types of stories. And he went through the police academy, and he was on the flight deck of, he was launching F-18s when the Iraq War was going on. Like, you name it, he's done it. So I would have to say him.
All right,
he'd be an interesting
that sounds like an
guest
interesting story
on this podcast.
You think we'll get tears or goosebumps when he's telling a story?
Maybe a few tears, maybe a few laughs. I don't know.
All right.
Was he an ABH?
What?
ABH? He was on the flight deck.
He was on the flight deck. He wore a yellow vest.
Okay, ABH.
Yes, that's funny.
See, I don't know that. I don't know.
I don't know that either.
That was the same rate as me. I never actually put on the yellow shirt, but
he was on. I know he was on CBN 77.
77,
which was George Bush.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
yeah.
At least you know that.
I know a little bit. Every time I meet clients who are in the Navy, I'm like,
Washington,
and I always try to relate something to them, which is a huge part of my sales approach. Whether it's their shoes, watches, or whatever car they pull up in. But every time I meet a military, I'm like, oh yeah, my brother was in the military. He's like, oh yeah, what do you do? I'm like, I don't know. He wore a yellow vest.
Dude, don't worry. That's the extent of what I know too.
Yeah.
The only reason I know his ship is the USS Enterprise was because my dad was a Star Trek fan, and so it was the USS Enterprise is the name of the ship, right?
Wow.
So it just happened to, okay, well that's easy to remember. I can remember that one. But other than that, when his Navy buddies come over and they start talking Navy stuff, I have no, right over my head. I have no clue what they're talking about.
They start talking in codes. It's like a whole different language.
It is.
Oh, no. It's great, actually. I've been a civilian long enough that I've forgotten a good chunk of it. So I couldn't even remember what their pay stubs were called. LES, by the way. Yeah. I was like, yeah. All you need is to have your, what the hell do they call that thing? The pay stub? Oh, yeah, my LES. Yeah, that thing.
That thing.
Yeah.
That's funny how you guys talk. I
Yeah.
don't know if I could ever join the military. I love him. I have mad respect, but I don't know if it's for me.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't. I got away with not doing it,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it would have been fun. I'm sure it could.
I'm pretty sure it would have.
It would have sucked and been fun.
I'm pretty
like
sure
they
you guys
say.
both have the types of personalities where you would have kicked ass in it.
Yeah.
It's really not that hard. You got to do 3 things: show up on time, have a squared away uniform, do what you're told.
Oh,
That's it.
I would have
Easy.
aced it.
Crushed
Yeah.
it.
That's
Every
it.
single
Crushed
time.
That's literally all you have to do. You can have a 20-year career. If you do 10% more than that, you're going to be an outstanding, exceptional sailor. That's it.
Shoot. Wow.
Maybe I should have joined the
Yeah,
military.
sure. No, but honestly, if I could redo everything, like go back in time, I would have joined the military when I was 18, travel the world, been able to take advantage of the VA home loan and all the free stuff. That
Hindsight.
I'm telling you, I'm a sucker for free stuff.
And now that they remove some limits here,
Exactly.
yeah,
Yep.
VA is going to be really, really nice.
It's gonna be very interesting.
All right, ladies and gents, thank you for being on the show.
No,
you did
honestly-
a great job. Now, if you want to start a podcast, you have the experience. You
Yeah.
can do it.
Well, thank you for having me. Honestly, it's my first ever podcast, and hopefully I can be on again. And whether it's this one or another one, or I don't know, I listen to podcasts all the time. But thanks for having me.
Well, dude, if you are interested in starting your own, let me know. I'll be there to help you all the way, whatever
Awesome.
you need.
Awesome.
Awesome, brother.
Very-
All right, ladies and
Thank you very
gents.
much.
Quick reminder, 365 pairs of shoes by the end of the year. So if you have new shoes, used shoes, or you want to do a cash donation, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. Remember, we also do insurance. So if you need your homeowner's life, your business, or you want to add insurance into your particular business, maybe you have a tax office or a real estate office, 619-884-0045 or james@csfirst.com. We'd love to help you out. Thanks again for being on the show.
Absolutely. And if you're looking for a house,
Oh, I
wanna
forgot to
sell,
do that.
wanna
Yeah.
buy,
How about look right here at this camera?
there you go.
Tell everybody how to get a hold of you.
Hey guys, people from San Diego, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, make sure to contact me, 619-874-1044, or you can find me at all social media platforms at Sell with Manuel. I'm your guy.
Boom.
There you go.
If I want to look for your YouTube channel, all that stuff, it's at
At Sell with Manuel.
That's it.
That's it.
Boom.
YouTube is Manuel Sanchez vlog, but everywhere else, Facebook, LinkedIn, everywhere. At Sell with Manuel.
It makes it easy, huh? When your handle's the same way.
I can't believe I still have that handle.
It works. It's what you do.
It's what I do.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's all we got for you guys today. Peace.
Bye-bye.
And we're out.
Bye, Facebook.
See you, Facebook. We love you guys. Thanks for watching.